Hey guys, welcome back to Frosting Artist channel. I'm going to do an unboxing today of one of our stencil sets. This particular one is the stencil set that you'll receive if you take one of our online courses. When you pay for it, we ship out your stencils so that you get it before class, and this is what you'll find inside. So it'll all just pull straight out, all of it in a nice little pack. So this is for, like I said, the stenciling online course that we are offering now. So your other stencil sets won't come with these first 2 pages, but they will come with the rest. This just goes over again what we're gonna cover in the class, and then you have a tools list and any other tips for getting ready for the class, basically, so that we're all ready to go and on the same page when class starts. That'll be coming with your class stencils. If you are purchasing just one of our other sets, you will receive kind of our informational sheet, kind of goes over cleaning your stencils before you use them, different things like that. And then you'll find the Frosting Artist Royal Icing recipe. This is the recipe that I personally use. I know a lot of states, it's not legal to sell the royal icing with meringue powder. I've heard people use other types of icing. I still need to test them out. I've heard some reviews that you get the same results with these other types of icing. I will have to do a review personally on how they work with the stencils and the different type of results that you can get with those. But if you are able to use meringue powder in your state to sell, then this is the recipe that I have always used. The next thing that is in there, this plastic sheet. It's just a clear plastic sheet. This is what you'll be frosting directly onto, so you'll put your stencils on to this and frost directly onto here, and once they're dry, they'll peel right off of this plastic, and then you can attach them to your cookies. If you want to get more of these sheets, you'll need to make sure it is clear. If you get the matte plastic, it's kind of porous, and so your icing will kind of attach itself to it. I've tested them out. The clear plastic is the best route to go because it's so smooth, and so your icing just pops right off. And the matte, you're gonna break every single one of your toppers if you frost onto a matte piece of plastic. So make sure it is clear if you buy any extras of your own plastics. But every stencil set that you purchase will come with this sheet. So over time, as you keep purchasing stencils from my shop, you will build up a decent stack of these stenciling sheets. And then you can be using those when you have several dozen toppers that you have to make. You just pull these sheets out, lay them all out, and you're good to go. Another tip real quick, I have been taping down my plastic for years, just onto my table or onto parchment or whatever, and I've always taped it down. And after I started selling my stencils, I had several people reach out to me saying that they have been putting these sheets on their baking mats and it helps keep them from moving. So I have been testing it out. It works perfect. So if you have a baking mat at home, you can put this sheet onto that. If you don't, you can tape it down. Another thing, this black background that you see in the video, this is a large silicone mat. So they sell these they kind of advertise them as like a craft mat for your kids. So you can lay it out on your table and they can get paints and markers and who knows what all over this thing. Cleans up good, can put it away, and your table isn't ruined, type of a thing. So my husband actually jumped on and bought one of these for me, and it works perfect, just the same as your baking mats. So as you can see, as I push on this, it's not really moving. So I can frost my design. And if I'm working on several sheets, I can just frost very carefully, grab the edges, pull it so that it goes straight up, and move that out of the way, and then I can grab my next one and set it down and continue frosting. That way I can put these sheets elsewhere on my table or wherever I need to put them out of the way, and I don't have to keep walking, because I used to just line a whole table worth, tape them all down. I'd have to move all my stuff across the table as I was frosting, and this cuts down on that time so much to be able to just switch your sheets out and they stick to it so that it's not shifting and messing up your stenciling. So that's another tip if you have a baking mat or a silicone mat, or if you just want to jump on and buy one of these. They are very, very helpful. Alright, so the rest of your unboxing, your stencils, you'll find a sheet that has links to my different social medias. So if you don't already follow me on all of these and you want to check them out, these URLs will lead you straight to those. Alright, so in this one, you will receive for the class, every stencil set I send out will have an included stencil sheet. So what you'll want to do, your manila envelopes that come in your pack they'll hold your stencils. All of your stencils will be found in these manila packs. So you'll want to pull those out and compare the stencils that you received to the sheet. That way you know that you received all your stencils. If you didn't, contact me. I'll get them shipped out right away. And then the next thing is your placement guide. For a design like this, it's fairly simple. We only have a couple of stencils, really easy to do. These can vary all the way up to, I have some sets that are like 20 plus stencils. So it's very helpful to have these placement guides. That way you know exactly where to put those stencils, because some of the details don't line up with an edge and you have to know where to put them. So that's where you refer to this page here. This particular one does not come with a color guide. Since it's just butterflies, you can use whatever colors you want. It's not going to be a big deal. You can switch up these colors super easy. It's only 2 stencils, so I did not include a color guide with this, but if you buy one of my larger sets or a character set, something where the colors actually matter and you would like to match to those designs, you would receive something along these lines. This one is for my rose stencils, so you would receive color guides to match the designs that I have made. And again, these are just suggestions. You don't have to follow these exact. These are just, I've had several people request that I create color guides because they really like the colors that I chose for a particular design and they want to copy it. So that's what this is for. I do have a video that goes over how to read these color guides. So I'll put that link in the description. You guys can jump over there and learn a little bit more about what all of these mean, because they can be a little bit confusing when you first look at it. Right, the last thing in your pack will be your stencils. So you'll open it up. And in this one, in this case, you'll have your base stencil is out on its own because it's a little bit larger than the rest. And then you'll have the stencils will be packed up in papers. This helps them from shifting around when being shipped in these envelopes. That way none of them get bent up, because some of my sets do have some finer details where if they were to shift against each other, they might tear or bend, and then you get stencils that aren't correct, and we don't want that to happen. So we package them up so that they're nice and tight, no shifting. You can just open up your paper and you have your stencils inside. In this case, like I said, you just come back over here to your included stencil sheet. And this is where you'll say, okay, so I have my base, and you can kind of see in the bottom corner it has the reference number basically, or title, and that will match what is on your included stencils and also your placement guides. So this one says base. I don't always pop those out and weed those ones. I do make sure that all of your main stencil that will be frosted is always weeded. I would double check just to verify that they are fully weeded before you get started, just in case, because some of the finer details do get overlooked every once in a while. So just verify that everything is weeded correctly. That just means that the plastic has been popped out. But I don't always weed the title. Sometimes they do pop out on their own, but since that is not being frosted, I usually leave that, and if you guys want to go through and pop them out, you can. So you'll just look, this one's the base. I have the base. And then here, this one says A1 and A2. You look over here, we have A1, A2. So we have those. And then this one says B1, B2, B1, B2. So we have all of our stencils in this set. You know that you're good to go. And then you can move on to your placement guide, and you can see, okay, so this one will be frosted on the base. These will not be frosted on the base. And it looks like I forgot on this paperwork, normally I'll put a ×3 on the base stencils. I'll go through and I'll fix that, so from now on when you guys receive these, they will say that. But whenever you see a ×3 on your base stencil, that means that you frost it 3 times. You frost this specific stencil 3 times. And the reason I do that, I've mentioned before, because I feel like this is a very important part and will save you a lot of frustration in the future. If you frost that, sorry, this one's the base stencil. If you frost the base stencil 3 times, either this one or this one, both of these 3 times, when your royal icing transfer dries completely and you go to pop it off, it won't break as long as you pop it off correctly. It will not break. And I have tested out 1 layer, 2 layers, and 3 layers. 3 layers is by far the best. If you have 1 layer, it just crumbles. There's no way to get that thing off without breaking it. 2 layers, it's kind of 50-50. If you're really, really careful, you can get them off, but then when you go to put them onto your cookie, half of them are going to break. There's no way around it. 3 layers on your base, you are not going to break it when you pop it off your plastic, and it won't break when you try and attach it to your cookie because it's nice and thick. A lot of people have asked if these transfers have a hard or soft bite. I keep that in mind when I create these stencils. I try and make it, I've tested several different amounts of layered icing, and I try and keep my cookie toppers under a certain amount of layers. That way you'll get that soft and slightly crunchy bite. When you apply these to your cookies, you'll use fresh icing, and then you'll put your topper on, and while it's drying, some of the moisture from that fresh icing will seep into your topper, which will soften it a bit. So you kind of get a really very light crunch, and then you get that super soft icing on the inside. So to me, it's the perfect type of crunch. Not too hard, not too soft. But yeah, so I do put 3 layers on the base to avoid breaking of any sort. So yeah, that's what you get in this particular set for the class. And then also any of my other sets, you will receive the same paperwork. You'll receive the frosting sheet, and your stencils will be packed away. I do write on them what they are. That way when you are all done using them, you can actually use these manila envelopes to store your stencils. So all you have to do is just slide them back in, and you can seal them up. And I like to put mine in a little filing cabinet. They're labeled. You can just flip through your little envelopes and find your design. You could put your paperwork with it as well inside your filing cabinet. That way you can just grab the whole thing and you're ready to go when you need to frost your design again. But yeah, that's what you'll find in your packages. If you have any further questions, please drop them in the comments and I'll answer them and get back with you as quickly as I can. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.